help the class with what you probably learned yesterday, one or two things you picked up from yesterday. Anyone, any volunteers? Yeah, sure. Sorry, microphone, please. So the people in-house. Yeah. So that our online audience can be part of this issue. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, from yesterday's business class, starting with the customer segment and talking about our market, the people we're selling to, and who are our target audience.
Yeah.
So, and under the market, that customer segment, we have like different market. Are you selling to one market or the particular group of people?
Yeah.
Or is it like, okay, for like example, use the sectors to the educational sector and so like what exactly are your target audience? Because I think we have so the next one was the value proposition. So if you're going to meet your customers, what exactly are you giving to them that would make them want to be interested in your product or whatsoever services you have to offer? So value proposition, what type of value are you adding to them? The emotional value, when they get product, probably that's to do like mental health, or probably comfort, like that. So the value you're actually providing for them.
Great.
Then other characteristics of the value, is this something that can be very first of its kind? So you should actually, when you use the first to actually have something actually value to them. Okay. So the next one has to do with the customer relationship.
Okay.
So when you actually relate to your customers, what ways, for example, if like a niche market, you have like a target audience that is not like one. So what exactly are you doing with your customers? Because you actually reach them. There are also many that you so many people, like a big business. Something that, for example, ads, for example, now, when people are passionate ads, you can actually add a one-on-one. For example, after an exhibition, somebody decides to tag a person from out. If you notice, most times the artists and the person people that how you can like conversation, like a relationship, you that they talk with each other. Okay. And also, for example, develop business, what are the free things in a way? Might not really speak, or what exactly are you giving them that will make them want to patronize you next time or will refer you to other customers? So that's customer relationship. Then the channels have to do with the ways to get our market or our products out there. What are the channels? Okay, so we have to maybe talk with for example, our social media platforms, like a great channel when it comes to selling products online. Then we also have, for example, I was thinking about the that discussed with some other real estate people that okay, this is also channels because they do things that spaces. So you can actually get to the customer when you use your card, anytime you want for a customer, like that's another channel. Then the next thing, I think that was the inside I've discussed is the other
side, the other side of it. Okay. Okay, so let's just maybe move to that side of the camera. Okay, great.
Okay, so just talk about the key activities. And the key activities that we taught was the things that we have to do to get the work done. Like what are the steps we need to take? So actually, for example, if you want to produce it's like an actual what are the issues, you have to get the materials. You have to probably start the process. For example, you want to start the painting, you need to write your canvas, you need to. So what are the key activities? Step-by-step procedure you need to take into place. Then the next thing is the key resources. What are the things you need to carry out the activity you want to perform? Okay. What are the things? So the materials you need to get, you need paint, you need brushes, the resources that even if you also manpower, many like workers would you have to employ to work together? So those are things that actually became resources. Then after that, we had the keeper, like people like work and whether we have to spend everything. So we need to actually like collaborate with some set of people. For example, now I'll talk about my personal experience because when I have to play information. And I'm not okay when I'm doing the whole design and coloring and those things, but when it comes to like cutting or creating cover or creating the panels or doing these things, I can't do it myself. I have to go to a professional carpenter that cut the shape out or whatever. I'll get the design out. This is what you should do, and I'll continue from there. So you have to partner with some people. Also, when it comes to suppliers, you have to have like people like partner when it comes to your materials. So you have like the first one, you're like, this is where I can get this is where I can get canvas, this is where I can get brushing. You need to ask your suppliers, so you won't just be so like keep yourself so worked up in your own thing, because creativity is your own job. So
Okay.
and finally because about the cost structure. So yes, you know, the amount we are putting into different areas of our creative process. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. We're really following. Anyone else want to share? Okay, so let's dive in directly. Yesterday there were certain things we're talking about. That was about the issue, especially for creatives, about passion and about problem solving, and really taking your business from that place of passion to solving problems. And in so doing, creating a value and then being able to, you know, grow a business from it. So the Canva we looked at took cognizance of a whole lot of things, even from the video. We talked about the external influences, government policies, macroeconomic policies, what your competitors are doing, or what the competition is doing, and how they can either add value to you, right? Maybe by being a source of a place for you to do collaborations, or you could learn from what they are doing as well and see how it impacts your business, finding where you can locate your business. So it was a general overview of the business. But today we're going to be doing things slightly differently, because while we spent a lot of time on that side of the canvas, today we'll be looking more at your key activities. And this is very important because it has to do with the products you will put out there. How do you understand what to design for? How do you understand what to look out for in creating a successful product? It's really, really important. You know, we've come from that place where we are saying, no, we really don't want you to just create a solution and then jump into the world looking for who to give that solution to, but rather identify a problem, figure out that this problem that you've identified has people who have needs, who can key into that problem, find out that they have the resources to pay for the solution you are going to proffer, find out that you have a solution to proffer as well, and then make sure that you get paid while doing it. That's why it's not a passion, it's not a journey of passion anymore. It's about problem solving, but as an entrepreneur, you must also generate revenue. It's very important. Otherwise, you'll be out of business in no time at all. So today we'll be looking more at your products. What to have at the back of your mind when you're looking to designing products or services, as the case may be. It's not just about physical products. If your business is service-oriented, like you do now, you try to deal with real estate and all, how to identify truthfully the needs, how to come up with solutions for those needs, and how to create a product, test it, and see that you make a better product that is better for everyone. In the video yesterday, we talked about prototyping, we talked about a couple of other things that you should do. The fact that you need to kind of iterate, check over and over again, fine-tune your product. And then when you are done, you have a better product. So that's really what we'll be concentrating on today. So can we go to my slide and we'll just take it from there. I don't know, is there any UX, UI designer in the room? Anyone? No, we don't have one. So, do we? Okay, she's not here. All right, so I'll assume that for this class, we don't have someone. What they do oftentimes is design products for people with to create unique experiences. So they would take into cognizance what you do and then craft a product for you along those lines. So today we'll be looking more at social impact through creative entrepreneurship. Yeah, so you're an entrepreneur and your means of delivering it is through a creative way. Now, there's this problem a lot of people tend to have. You know, when we talk about creative entrepreneurs, people just assume that, look, it's because you can draw, you can paint, you can sculpt, you can make music. That's what makes you one. No, the reality is that practically everyone has some form of creativity in them. And when you're talking about creative entrepreneurship, you're actually referring to people who just approach problem solving in a creative manner. That's just all. And probably everyone has a bit of creativity in them. So anyone can truthfully be a creative entrepreneurship. Yeah, entrepreneurship because you're trying to generate funds while solving a problem, and creative because of the innovation you bring into play when you are trying to solve that problem. So we will, next slide, sir. Well, great to have you guys here. Hashtag is still there as it is. Won't bother with this video because I assume that most of us should have watched it. It's just a video that has to do with why the British Council set up this in the first place. If you have started filling the forms online, this would be one of the first videos you looked at. So we truthfully wouldn't spend so much time on it. But if you go online, I think it's or maybe we should just play it, David, briefly so people can see, I think here.
With DigitalOcean managed MongoDB, you won't have to worry about database administration.
Maybe you want to pass it a bit?
Young people in Africa want to be the boss, their own boss. They have talent and ambition, but a lack of relevant training is holding them back. The British Council, the UK's international organization for cultural relations and educational opportunities, wants to help change that. Using its networks across the world, the British Council has developed a series of e-learning courses targeted at entrepreneurs in the...
Sorry, have we all watched this video before? Or some people haven't in-house. Okay, please let it run there.
Creative industries such as music, fashion, computer games, and film, and where their businesses has a social impact, making a difference to their community. The courses, in partnership with Microsoft, will look at entrepreneurial skills, mentoring, networking, and policies, whether new starters or those already in business.
Entrepreneurs have a role to play in enhancing communities economically, socially, and culturally. And so for us, this e-learning project is very much around broadening access to a lot of the content that we've been developing over time, working in all of these areas across the countries of Africa where we're working.
Digitally delivered training will become part of a blended approach so that those without internet access will not be left behind. It will be available for self-learning so that trainees can work through the courses on their own using online tools or where a facilitator will lead the sessions.
So my advice to entrepreneurs on the African continent is that customer is king. You can have a great idea and you're very passionate about it. But if your customers isn't passionate about it and they not end up in your banking account, you don't have a business. And so as you journey through the growth of your businesses, you must know that businesses around the world grow faster when they are connected to a business advisor, a group of mentors, life coach, get a legal advisor, be it, one of the tech startups, etc. Get an accounting firm, and do get an ambassador for your product.
The e-learning courses will reach 8 countries across sub-Saharan Africa, but will also be open to users more widely across the continent. By 2050, more than half the world's population growth will be in Africa. Economic forecasters believe this growth will bring unprecedented opportunities for investment and innovation. It's already a region where entrepreneurship among the young is thriving. Among those taking part in the course will be Salamatu Adamu, one of the few female photographers in northern Nigeria, and Kenyan filmmaker Victor Murithi.
Over time, I started to move it from sort of like a hobby to freelance and now to a company where I have to think about things like registration, the financial analysis, how to get funds, the business model canvas and all of that. And I think the course is really helping because sort of sometimes you feel really lost when you're doing something that's a bit unconventional at your location. So when you have courses that are meant for creatives, especially what I'm doing, it sort of gives you a guideline.
Such content is necessary and actually very critical to the industry and to people in that space more than ever before. So I'll say it's something that someone needs to plug in, and if any creative person is ever planning to run a business, it is essential and actually critical, not only to the entrepreneur's survival as an individual, but also the venture's survival as well as a business in its life cycle. Yeah.
Designs by Senegalese fashion designer Sophie Zinga are seen on the catwalk all over the world. She started her business 10 years ago when she returned home from graduating from a college in the United States. Sophie believes it is important for creatives to take business courses.
Obviously, fashion is, something that's very passionate to do. It's creative, but there's a whole business behind it. And, I was lucky enough to have a background in economics coming into fashion design. So that really helped me also with the numbers. That helped me, put together a business plan, understand, where I was headed, have a canvas to work on.
Nouri Taha set up his multimedia business in Sudan after freelancing, because he found he was taken more seriously as a company. He says the British Council courses will help creatives learn about business practices.
I think the major issues for organizations not wanting to work with freelancers alone is the accountability. They want to know if, God forbid, something happened to this photographer, that their work is not going to be in vain, it's not going to be lost. There is always someone to go back to and check the work progress, or talk about payment. So from that angle, that's when I realized that I can no longer continue being a freelancer, so that if I want to take my business to the next step.
The e-learning is part of a wider creative economy piece of work by the British Council to create a stronger partnership between countries in sub-Saharan Africa and an ecosystem in which they can thrive.
Our program does support with entrepreneurship skills. It does support with the tools that people need to build successful businesses. But we're only building on that innate talent, that innate resilience, that innate innovativeness and inventiveness that young people in many of the African countries we're working already have.
Great. I think that's that about that. So let's deep dive to where we really are going today. And that's about 2 things we'll be looking at critically: design, as well as the role of technology. We've looked at, from what we heard yesterday, you looked at the general business canvas, you've looked at what the expectations of your business should be like, who you're looking at, the factors that are at play and all that. Now it's time for us to look at that back end. what am I producing? How am I producing it? What's guiding my thought when I'm producing it? What impact do I want that to create as I produce? And so we'll just be looking at some things, close up on how to, some rules, some ways you could use, or some techniques that will guide creation of whatever it is you're trying to do. So next slide, please. Great. Some key things to look at. Impact entrepreneurship. Every entrepreneurship business should have an impact. If your business or your entrepreneurship work is not impacting, at some point you might not become so relevant again. Back then, when businesses were being created, profit was the main motivation. So a lot of people just wanted to make money, make money, make money. But the business climate is changing seriously. And what that change does is that your business now needs to have make a major impact for you to be able to grow it, for you to be able to scale it to whatever level it is. So we'll be looking at that, the type of entrepreneurship, which is the impact entrepreneurship. But beyond that, while you're impacting your economy as an entrepreneur, you need to balance your profit with the impact. You can't say because you're trying to make impact, you won't make money. And you can't say because you're trying to make money, you will not have an impact on society. It means your business will not grow. So as young entrepreneurs, you need to find that balance between impacting the society but making money while you're at it. And to do that, we'll be dwelling seriously on what we call human-centered design, right? Because this is the new direction that businesses are going. In fact, this is the new direction the world is going. If you want your business to have a lot of impact, it needs to be human-based. It needs to have a human face, okay? And we'll be looking at how you can, if you already have a business, that is to say, and you were doing it strictly for profit, is there a way for you to now pivot it so that you're still making profit, but you're having social impact? So that instead of closing the business down completely, is there an area you can now play in that you can piggyback to make impact? Of course, we talked about the role of technology that we'll be looking at. And then inclusion, sustainability, values, and ethics. This would just be things that will guide your business, really. It's really for businesses that are high up there, but you would set up these structures maybe from the very beginning. So your business, there are values running your business. There are things you will do and things you will not do. There are kind of people you will sell to, you will not sell to. So that's very important. Next slide, sir. I've said most of this. Almost all entrepreneurship should be social. Your business should have an impact with the society you are in. Basically what it is, what does making an impact mean? What will your business do when it's making an impact? We can't dwell much on this because I'll share the slides, so that's fine. You can just read it up. Go to the next one. The key thing, human-centered design, whether in products, whether in services. We've learned in the course of this class, if I recall, we've talked about people being emotional beings, right? Much more than logical people. So while people deal with logic, they spend more time buying emotionally, right? So you want to find out, and I'm just going to really go into it, but before we do that, I'd like to ask, can someone in the class please share with us if you've done something new in recent times that you've never done before, an experience? Anyone? Something you did that is new. You've never done it before at all. Whether it was attend an event or participate in something. Did you learn to bungee jump? Did you learn what? Something, anyone? You? Yeah, great. Is it fun? Okay.
So I write a journalist.
Yes.
And I asked somebody about to do a proposal.
Okay.
In order to complete this video consulting.
Okay.
So that's something I'm looking for.
Okay, so have you done it? It's a proposal. I am looking more in terms of an activity. You went kayaking a month ago. You had never gone kayaking before. What was your expectation of the kayaking experience? Okay.
I was excited, but then I got to the booth.
Yes.
And I realized that I was supposed to kayak myself.
Yes.
One person. All this I figured out.
But you're here, you're telling details, so obviously you didn't drop. Yeah. So in the course of that, you had expectations, then you got there, then the experience was slightly different, looked a bit frightening, but then you overcame your fright and then it became a delightful experience again. Brilliant. Anyone else? You want to? You went? Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So did that in any way change your perspective towards policemen, people who do this for a living, people who shoot guns for a living?
It just made me like how it was on the video. I knew it was, but you have to hide. I don't know.
Did it change your mindset about things like strategy, planning?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because
as you prepare, where you have the games, yeah.
There are places to hide.
Yeah. Okay.
So you actually did not have a strategy before you started the whole thing.
Yeah.
You
You were dead. You were dead if you didn't expect.
I wasn't. It was difficult to run at night in one position. So after that experience, I
How many times did they kill you before the game was over? Huh? You didn't get shot? Okay. Oh. Did they define to you what was the killer shot and what was not? So you learned also that in the course of that exercise, you could get hurt, but you could still complete it. Brilliant. Anyone else? Oh, great. It's all right. Doesn't matter. It was something you had not done before. Good. Yeah. You got a dog. Oh, great. You stay alone in your compound. Oh, okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. Okay. And how's the dog doing right now? Brilliant. Brilliant. But you finished, and the dog is happy. Brilliant. Fantastic. So the essence here is this. From the experience we've just shared, you went into something you had not done before. You had a mindset about it, but during the course of engaging in that activity, you discovered a lot more that you didn't know. You also discovered that, oh, peradventure, you learned better ways of doing it. You discovered that you probably had to do some more research because what you thought you knew wasn't exactly what was playing out there. And even in third Pica's example, you realized that you wanted to do something, it was a labor of passion. You wanted to get a pet, so you got a pet. But then with the pet comes a lot of responsibilities. You need to build it a kennel, you need to take care of it. And so suddenly you're finding yourself making a business decision. What is this business decision? You need to get it a house, but you do not have the resources because the places you went to was too expensive. So you decided to improvise, right? And as you improvised, it did cost you some. It took a longer time. It allowed you to now start empathizing with your workers, who you probably didn't give the time of day before. You just figured out that, hey, they are working, they are earning money, so let them do their work. But you now realize that to sweat in the sun for the number of hours it took, and now that's changed your perspective. And these are really very beautiful examples because it just shows us what we'll be going into, okay? When you're talking about designing for or solving a problem for your business, as the case may be, you need to approach it with a lot of creativity, that's right. And to do this, we cannot fall into that trap we always do, because if you notice at the beginning of all these lectures you were having, most people had ideas that I already have an idea, I already do this, you know, and are trying to say, okay, I'll just bring it to the world and people will patronize. And we kept reiterating one particular thing. Don't come with a solution and think that, look, you can sell it to people. No, you need to first and foremost find a problem, okay? Find a problem that you want to solve, figure out how to solve it, and then test to see if as you are solving it, it's actually working. And then see if it is a solution that you can market. So we're going to be looking at something that's called human-centered. Human-centered design is really a very vast topic. It's a very vast topic as the case may be. And we're just going to dance around the periphery, but you'll find how to apply it. Because like I said, we're trying to talk about your products now. What you are giving out, how you want to give it out, how you want to build it, how you want to design it, what kind of impact it will create, you know? And what this simply means, truthfully, is that when you want to design, you truthfully need to know the people you are designing for. You need to know the people you are designing for. It's very important. And what is more important is the fact that when you want to do these designs, most of us already have fixed notions of what we think the problem is. It's just like someone who's doing something for the very first time, hasn't done it before. You actually have expectations of what you think that thing will be. But as you get involved in it, you will really discover whether what you think is right. And if it is not, then you need to change your mindset. Then you need to find a new solution based on what you've learned, not what you thought, you know? And that's actually what helps your business. That's what helps you make a good product. For instance, if you, for my dear friend who puts stuff on her t-shirt, right? What is the motivation behind people wearing t-shirts that have content on it? Because if you figure out why people wear such t-shirts. It will help you design better the kind of t-shirts, the kind of messages you put. Oftentimes, because people are emotional people, some people like to make statements with themselves. That's why they will wear such t-shirts. But then the question will be, what kind of statements do they want to make? Okay. Some people want to say, I have arrived, I have done this, I have done that. You need to figure out one, the market that you want to go into, like we've talked about using the Canva yesterday. You need to figure out the kind of people you want in that market. You need to figure out what they would like to say to the world. Don't forget that when they wear the t-shirt, they don't look at the message. They are trying to pass that message to the world. And they want anyone that they come in contact with to say, hey, this is what I'm saying. There used to be some t-shirt that reigned some time ago, something about a monkey with money or something. It went so viral. It went so viral because people just wanted to wear it. People wanted to say yes. Even someone whose income was down there. With all apologies to the ladies in the house, all apologies. A lot of young ladies today want to carry an iPhone. Yeah. I said a lot. I didn't say all the ladies. I didn't say all the ladies, so I won't get indicted. I said a lot of ladies. And why I'm saying so is because if you actually do it like a survey, especially here in Nigeria, I tend to think women in a whole, there are a whole lot more who purchase iPhones than guys. And even when you find the guys buying the iPhones, oftentimes they are buying the iPhones to give to someone. I have seen amazing scenarios where students own iPhones. They are all still dependent, but they own iPhones. And why do they want to own the iPhone? It's because of the status, it's the prestige it confers, or that's their perception. Do you guys remember that thing? Perception is what? Reality. So they just want to feel like, okay, so here we are. I mean, take a good look at me. I own an iPhone. I'm not your average girl out there. I have money. Okay, even if that money doesn't come directly from what they earn, the fact is that. And so people, you need to know exactly what the people you are designing for want. If you want to actually make an impact, if you actually want to build a credible business, it's so, so important. So you need to start looking at your business again from a different perspective, especially when you are trying to create a product or a service. Who are the people that will need this service? How are we going to package this service in a way that we appeal to them? How can we get them to spend their money based on what we have done? As opposed to the old ways of doing things that you just go, you sit down, you say, oh, this is what I think. People will just like this. And you just create a product and you just bring it out there, then you're frustrated. So you really don't want to do that at all. You want to be very systematic about what you are putting out there. Product, service, very systematic. So, okay, I'll slide this off. These are the kind of things that you just need to prepare yourself for. The people who succeed out there, and I keep saying this, are not people who work randomly. So you must do your business not from a very random perspective. You must be very focused about what you want to do. If you start imagining and assuming, like the little exercise we just did in class now, that look, this is a new experience. You've not done it before. You are just assuming that these are the issues that are there. These are the things that I am going to, deal with. This is how it will work. But the truth is that you've never done it before. And then you go there and you discover that the challenges are different. What people want is completely different. What they are looking for is so different. So what we are saying with business is that, is our slide back on? Fantastic, okay. Before you rush into creating products now, you want to do certain things. Very important for your business. You truthfully want to do certain things. You want to think some things through. And you need to run some exercises. Please, sir, let's go to the next slide. Next slide, John. Good. What we call the design process, okay? You want to run this through your business each time you want to create a product. You want to look at these various segments and see how well you can do it. I'm just going to pass this around the class. And we'll go through it. There we go. Okay, great. So we're just going to go through this. Looks like a lot of English, but it's really very, very simple, okay? So if you have a design or you have a plan or something you wanted to truthfully do, you have an idea of something you want to do. First question you ask yourself is, how do I get started? And what you truthfully need to do is, before starting to design, go spend some time with the people you want to design for. That's so, so important. After you've identified the kind of people you want to do business for, you found out what they are doing and all, go spend some time with them. Find a way to reach out to them. Find a way to research about them. What do they do? You know, how do they do things? Where do they do things? Why do they do things? You need a lot of these answers for you to begin to plan what you want to do. If your business, like we did from the Canva, is for the masses, how do you reach them? What part of the masses are you looking at? Is there a subsection somewhere you can go that you can find some of them and spend some time with them and talk with them? Because oftentimes you may just perceive that they have a problem and you are trying to approach it from your own perspective. But when you've done that, you truthfully will not be solving their problem. And if you don't solve their problem, they won't patronize you. So you will build a product, but it will be useless. In your eyes, you thought it's a great product, right? But when you take it out there, it won't work. So spend some time with them. I was talking with my young friend yesterday and talking about where to find business as a spoken word artist. Who are the people who will pay your bills? Where do they find them? What do they like? How do they like it? It's not enough for you to sit in a place and wait for a poetry slam, okay? If people, and I'll just give you an off example, it's an off example, right? Maybe for a spoken word person. Who are the people who like spoken word? What are their age ranges? What are their likely professions? What do they do after hours? Where do you find them? When you're able to find such answers, that may be an indicator to where you want to go and offer your services. Because if they're looking for bankers or lawyers who like poetry, but they're busy all week, who go for after hours drinks on a Friday, maybe you want to be talking to the people at the lounge that, look, for your happy hour, I'm glad to offer my services. They like to hear these kind of things. It will help your customers unwind. It will help us all make money because you will sell a lot. and we'll all be happy. So maybe instead of trying to say, I must do a gig of my own, and I will do it at such and such a time, and I must go and look for people all over the place to come and attend. That might just be a ready market for you that you don't stop. And you're saying, okay, great. You could go to people who love the cinemas, right? You could strike a deal with someone who owns a cinema house and says, look, the 10 minutes, the 5 minutes that people wait in between movies, I can make them relax, have a better movie experience because of what I am saying. They will enjoy it. They will come back. They will tell people about the extras that comes with coming to watch a movie here. And they will even bring more people. So that way, you need to find out, what do they want? Like I said about my sister who uses, who puts stuff on her shirt. Oftentimes, a lot of us will say, oh, this is the message I want to pass. So I'm just going to use this to pass the message. That's really great. But the catch with it is that you will not buy your own products. I think that's very important for us to note. You will not buy your own products. And if you don't want to have a warehouse that is filled with stuff that nobody will buy, please find out what they want and be able to give it to them. Within the confines of it, recall we say you set some ethics and code for your business. So you find what works. So if I have a problem now, where do I start? Go spend some time with people. How do I conduct an interview with these people? How do I access them? How can I talk to them? You need to figure that out. You need to do some research. And this thing that you want to create, will it still be centered around the human? Will it give them an experience? Will it be something that they will appreciate? Or are you just creating a product? We've said it here before, I believe. There are so many things contending with people's resources. So if you want to get into them, it needs to be something that they are willing to pay you for. But it's something that gives them an experience. I wish we had Dr. Lanre in the house that told you some kind of things based on experiences in businesses he has run here in the FCT. For instance, he discovered through hard work that people don't buy, when they go out to eat, they don't go to eat good food. Oftentimes when they want to spend the serious amount of money, it's not about the food, the taste of the food, it's actually about the experience, the ambience of the place, the kind of people that can be found there. So somebody will not go and eat in Chicken Republic or buy food for 1,500. But the person will take a date out to a place where a plate of meal is about 10,000 naira. And you see, the guys who sell that 10,000 naira plate of food understand this. They've identified their market. Their market is not, we're going to school, we need to stop and buy food for the children, so just buy Chicken Republic. That Chicken Republic has its own market. But for the people who want to make that kind of money, they are not selling to the masses. They are just, it's an experience. So they craft an experience. You need to ask yourself a question as an entrepreneur. What do you truthfully want to do? Where is this your market that you are looking for? Who constitutes this market? And how can you then position yourself for the market? That's the product you will now do. Mimshak mentioned yesterday, right? Rolls-Royce. You see the experience that comes with Rolls-Royce. Oh, they will fly your car to you. They will put your name on the seats in the car. They will send you personalized brochures. They will do all sorts of things. But guess what? You'll be paying for every single one of those things that they did for you. And you will be thanking them for doing it, because when you realize that there is a waiting list and you just happen to be one of the big boys or girls who got there and who they are delivering to, that's the statement you're making to the world. The guys who fly private jets could as well fly first class and nobody would truthfully bother them. But you need to make a statement. The guys who buy yachts that they probably get to step on once in 3 years or whatever, It's all the statement they are making. What is your market? You did business Canva yesterday. You are like, what is your market? Figure out what that market is. Figure out what drives that market. Figure out the people in that market. Live their experiences with them. Find out from them what they need, and then create products on this. Okay? Now, you've gone, you figured out what they want. Now you want to design. The question now is, all those things you've learned about them, you now want to bring it into your design. You want to interpret it and say, okay, these people have low self-esteem. I'm going to still use my sister's t-shirt. They have low self-esteem, for instance. My t-shirt is going to make them feel, look, I am boss over all. Just my caption. I am the boss. You are looking at the boss. You are looking at the man out there. You are looking at money. This is money walking. And you put those kind of messages. An average guy, a millionaire will not wear, this is money walking. That guy who lives downtown, urban place, who's looking for money, who's struggling to pay his rent, will say that, at all, I will wear this one now. You understand? And when he wears it, he will swag with it. You will see him that, I will say, yeah, I'm boss. You want to challenge me? And if that is the market you are looking for, you'll be surprised that in that place where you have so many Nigerians, your 5,000 t-shirt will become a sellout. People will say, oh, 5,000, so much money, I can't even pay. No, what's the statement? What's the emotion behind that person who's wearing that t-shirt? It's really so important because that's how you make sales. You have people who say, yes, I think we have a few graphic designers in the house, right? If you want to design, the person you want to design for, what exactly is that person trying to say? Empathize with that person, find out what that person wants, then help craft a message that best delivers what that person is trying to say, and you're fine. So don't just do things randomly. You've learned, those things you've learned, now how do you turn them into tangible? Let's not forget, tangible ideas, because some of the solutions are just not tangible. Maybe the cost of doing it is really ridiculous. So you list a couple of ideas, figure out if they are tangible, and then figure out how do I make a prototype. We talked about prototyping yesterday. But what you're going to do with prototype is make sure that it is not an expensive prototype. So you are not wasting money. It needs to be an idea you've picked, you fine-tune from what people are saying, then you test it again. You test it again, you give it to them. Create something that they can look at and say, oh, this is really nice. Make one t-shirt and find out someone in that neighborhood who probably is an influencer and give it to the person to wear and find out the impact the shirt made. Oh, the people figure out, oh, this is your shirt, where did you get it? Where did you? So you don't just go and start producing when you are not sure of the outcome. You minimize your costs as best as you can. And when you have done that severally, we'll come to what we call the implementation stage. Is it now real? Is it marketable? Will people now pay money for it? That's when you truthfully go and start spending a lot of money. Next slide, sir. Oh, sorry. Let's just look at this graph, which I have given. So you see, you will inspire, you will idea. Ideation is just where you create a lot of ideas, right? And you fine tune them until you get the best idea. And then you finally implement it. So it's just a lot of go uphill, come back, go uphill, round and round and round until you get what you are looking for. Next slide, please. Great. These are just the things you need to have at the back of your mind. This is really straightforward, right? If you are going to be designing or creating products, please, you need to empathize with the people, okay? Live in their shoes, walk in their shoes, find out what drives them, define what the problems you want to solve are, truthfully. Define it based on what you've learned from them. Create ideas from what you have discovered. Build prototypes based on those ideas and see if they're actually okay or not. Test them. And you don't have to spend money doing so much of these things. Then iteration is just simple. What does it mean? Do it over and over again, correcting the mistakes, correcting it, using the feedback until you get to a place where it is now sellable. Put it in the market and it will sell itself. The reason why a lot of businesses have challenges, truthfully, is because we don't do these things. Okay, and then we start with our own idea, we get somewhere, and then when we start trying to test it, it fails because people don't want it. People have other problems. You know, Mimshak said something yesterday that was profound. He said, look, you put a shirt, you have a shirt, and you say you're selling it, but because of the leather bag, it is X amount of money. Says the person, can you take away that leather and just sell it to me? They say, okay, no, if we put the what? The print on it, I don't want. Remove it now. It should be a shirt. I just want to wear a shirt. Then I say, no, sleeves. They say, remove it. I like to buff. I just want to show my muscles, please. So you need to know what they want. You need to test, and then you get there. Next slide, sir. Brilliant. These are the steps you will pass as you do these things, and it's very important. I don't know who told you guys, maybe when you were in school, when you started out in life, they told you, look, if you fail, if you come home with failure, stay out on the street. I am yet to meet a Nigerian parent who didn't come first or second. Everybody in high school, in the university got first and second. So who took the other position? You understand? And now, subconsciously, they've made it look as if when you fail, it is a big problem. It's only here in Nigeria, let me be factual with you guys, it's here around this part of the world, okay, that we go into a business expecting not to fail. It's only around here that happens. The average business person out there, when they start their business processes, they expect to fail. But the difference between you and them is this: they learn from that failure, that product has a few things that won't work. They learn why it won't work. They fine-tune the product. And for some of them, they will fine-tune and realize that, okay, maybe this place I want to sell this thing is really not the place I should be selling it. This product, truthfully, is a bad fit here. So they might now figure out, we need to take it somewhere else. So as you start your own entrepreneurship journey, it's very important that you know this. All of us talk about the frustrations. Oh, you get so frustrated. The business didn't work. You put everything in. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. While you're busy moaning about that, your counterpart who is doing it elsewhere is saying, what didn't I do right? Is in this part of the world, if I'm allowed to say such things, that you say that the people from the village have your number. So they are the ones dialing your number. That's why it's not happening, right? But it's not so. Failure is something you must learn from. Why we are so afraid of failure is really beyond me. Maybe because of the mindset. It's been drummed into us from when we were kids that no, you can't fail, you can't fail. No, you can fail and you can learn from failure. In fact, like I said earlier, and that's why we did that small exercise, right? You had a notion about something. She wanted to go kayaking. She thought, oh, so kayaking. She got into the boat. First thing she realized, maybe her mindset when she was going for kayaking was that as a boss lady, she would just pose and someone will row her around the water and she will take lovely selfies, which she can post on the gram, right? Then she got to the place and what did they say? It's not even two of you that can encourage yourself. Oh yeah, you enter your boat, you enter your boat. It's time to go. And for someone who left the house all fired up, got there and spent 30 minutes frozen in spot. And then probably said to herself that, hey, I'm here and I'm not going to waste this money. I'm not going to waste it. I must see this thing through. And then got around to realize that it's not as bad as I thought. Oh, come on. This is fun, actually. And I'm sure the selfies still got taken, everything. We took all the pictures. We did videos. You see how it is. So learn from failure, please. If you don't learn anything else, learn from failure. Because if you position yourself that this venture I'm about to go to is likely to fail, you will do it first. You will learn from it. I'm going to use the software world as an example. For those of us who know about softwares here, you realize that each time before, when a software or an app is being created, there are always what they call beta testing. They must test them. So they'll give it to you for free. Those days when piracy or bootlegging software was such a great thing here in the country, that's where most people got it from. That's where when you still go online today and you download what is a free copy of an app, likely getting the beta version. They are not even interested about you as a market. They are not afraid that you are. Those who will buy it will certainly buy it. You are not the market, so they don't care. But they allow those things to come out so they can learn from the mistakes and then make a much better product. So if they do that, why shouldn't you do it with your business or with your product? How do we have this notion, truthfully, that what I'm giving out is already the best? Everybody would just love it. Mimshak talks about an experience he had. He had this brilliant idea. Everybody said, amazing, this is so great. This will work so well. And so he decided to go and get the domain for it. Register the domain. Got to the place. Domain was already taken. Same name he wanted. He had already been registered. So that piqued his curiosity. So he went to check and discovered that, not only had those guys taken that name, the exact business he wanted to do, as he wanted to do it, had been done 5 years ago. 5 years ago, not 3 months ago, 5 years ago. And what does that say to you? So you just, look, learn. What you need to do from this particular portion, right? From this is make sure that whatever you will create at the end of the day is not something that will cost you so much money. It's not something that will cost you a whole lot of money so that you are not losing. Don't forget, sometimes you are competing with companies that have research and development. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of time. So be creative about it. 2, make it. All the ideas in the world, right? They are great ideas, but if you never implement them, that's where they will stay, ideas. And it won't add any value to you. So when you spend time with people, when you've studied the market and the things you want to do, you need to create something. No matter what it is like, whether it is simple or not, but don't spend so much money. You need to do that, okay? We need to have what we call creative confidence. I explain all that. You need to empathize with people. You need to embrace ambiguity. Just a lot of English to say, look, just give yourself the freedom to create, okay? Sometimes when you are doing something, some people will say that idea is too foolish, it won't work. Don't listen to that. If you are going to discover that the idea is foolish, discover it properly. You understand? Let it be that it is truly foolish. There are people who like foolish value now, don't they? Once upon a time in this country, people didn't listen to comedy. How many people went to listen to comedy? The spoken word guys. The comedy guys opened the doors for you people to understand that people can take their hard-earned money and go and pay to enjoy an evening of unbridled laughter. Just enjoy yourself. And so many of them cashed out to the banks and are still cashing out to the banks, became very big brands. So be optimistic, guys. When you do business, right? This one is your #1 mantra. Be optimistic. When business is not working, be happy. Know that things will still work. Keep psyching yourself until it works. Remember, perception is what? Reality. Dress well, speak with confidence, move with swag. Don't go tattered and you're not begging. You're a business person. Let them see these things. And then when we say iterate, but Can we watch the videos, please?
With DigitalOcean managed MongoDB, you won't have to worry about database administration.
Hi, I'm Tim Brown. I'm a designer. I'm the CEO of IDEO and board member of IDEO.org. I'm not sure it's really failure that we celebrate, even though we have to be comfortable with the idea of failure. What it is that we're celebrating is the learning that comes from failure. The learning that comes from trying something out, maybe pushing it a little bit too far, or maybe trying an experiment that you wanted to learn from, and it didn't quite work out how you expected, but in some ways, the learning that came from that unexpected failure was maybe more valuable than the success might have been. If you think about it, the whole scientific method, which is quite close to design thinking in many ways, is designed to learn through failure. An experiment, which is a hypothesis, an experiment that you design to test that hypothesis, and then an outcome from which you learn. More often than not, those experiments prove that you didn't know what you thought you knew, and that through that process, you've learned something unexpected. And so what my advice to people who feel uncomfortable with the idea of failure is, don't think of it as failure. Think about designing experiments through which you're going to learn. When it comes to implementation, that's when you probably don't want quite as much failure to happen, because it starts getting a bit more expensive then, right? You're putting all this effort into making something. But even then, you need to be constantly experimenting and constantly refining. So there's an opportunity to learn through these experiments by continuing to prototype. You just probably want to try and avoid having a big failure right at the end.
Next video, sir.
Let me tell you a story. 22 years ago, a baby boy named Gabriel was born. And due to an incredibly early birth, his precious life was snatched away almost immediately after it was given
I
to
don't think
him.
that's the video.
The next year, the mother was pregnant once again, and because of her first
Can you guys please just, designers in this room, can you guys just get a solution for power in Nigeria, please? Please. It's a political we need. But we've done the politics for how many years now? Eh? Okay, so while we're waiting for the high and mighty politicians, can someone get a quick fix for us? Something that we can put in place that is affordable. Yeah. I probably will. So we can put on an AC with it now. But someone came up with an idea, and NTN is cashed out on it as well. It's the NTN box they are talking about. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
My name is Krista Donaldson, and I'm the CEO of DREV. DREV is short for Design Revolution, and we design products, mostly medical devices, that improve the health and the income of people living on less than $4 a day. I would actually say some of the best designers and some of the best design thinkers came as people who like to make and like to fiddle around with things. To me, it's all about iteration. And in a product design sense, a product can be very low res. to just get basic feedback. And in fact, one of the things I suggest when we're working with our staff is do not spend a lot of time refining something. You just want to get the main idea there. What's the main idea you want this product embodiment to convey? It could be it's small, it's compact. It could be, it's got a wide footprint and it looks sturdy. It could be any number of things, but each prototype should just have a main idea, and you're just trying to get something made that conveys that idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. And to me, the key, like getting over that barrier of like, I don't know how to do that is like, just don't worry about it. There's no risk involved. In fact, if anything, you're taking risk out of the process by trying a very simple thing first, and you always learn lessons from it.
Okay, so let's pause that for now. And I'm just going to point out some things from what this lady is saying and what you need to apply into your business, right? When you found out the people you've spoken to and all, please don't just go and make the best option, best product just yet, okay? When you make one, test it. Be sure that it works before you go and commit a lot of money to it. Even if it is your thinking process, if it's a proposal you want to do or something you want, test it first. Find a small subsection, test it. And something I told the other class, and I'll tell you, a lot of us really do not like to share our ideas. We always say people will steal the ideas. If only you knew how many ideas are begging to be stolen. There are so many of them, nobody's stealing them. Too many ideas. Maybe the idea you are planning on stealing, the solution, like I said, they've done it 5 years ago. So you steal it, you don't steal it, hey. We need to be able to meet people. Mimshak told you guys, he said, I'm a very shy person. He is a very shy person, right? But would you see that from him when he talks? You do t-shirts as part of some of the things you do, right? Do you have enough courage to walk up to an absolute stranger and say, hey, what do you think about this? Knowing that they will give you honest feedback, not because they know you, not because they like you, not because you're a pretty girl. No. This exactly is what I think. And sample opinions of different people, okay? Identify, like we said earlier, where you really want to play. And go pick someone's brains and say, truthfully, will you spend X amount on a shirt that says this about you? Would you? Would you spend money buying a t-shirt for people that says X, Y, Z? Do you think you would? That way you can get honest feedback. One of the things said, look, put up something online, right? And put the buy now button there. These are all ways of, so you're not just saying it's a normal survey. What do you think? No. We need to be able to discuss with people. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is what I have in mind. Do you think it works? And listen to critical, honest feedback and use that to craft a better product. Don't forget, failure for you is not a thing. It's not like you're failing. If you've done something and they say it doesn't work that way, be humble, eat humble pie to accept that, okay, maybe they have an idea of what they are saying, all right? And this is how you should do it. Don't insist that I must do it this way. Because oftentimes you will do it, but like I said, if you don't want a warehouse filled with clothes, you will not use yourself. Where you go and sit down and say it's your grand auntie that was wicked, that did do what is right. Figure out what you need to do. My slide, please, sir. Don't just go and start spending money. Great. Next video, sir. Just rush through a couple of the videos and then we can round up things and deal with questions.
Have you always wanted to be a great singer? Hey there, I'm Alexander Stewart, a singer here on YouTube.
I'm David Kelly. I'm the founder and chairman of IDEO, and I'm the founder of the D School at Stanford. Creative confidence is the notion that you have big ideas and that you have the ability to act on them. Yeah, lots of people say I'm not creative, and we prove them wrong. I mean, it's amazing how many people will flip. If you're not confident, you have some fear that's blocking you from being confident, so we have to remove that fear. If you take somebody in kind of an easy, simple problem and you give them some success, that builds a little confidence. And it's kind of baby steps. You have to go through lots of iterations, and each time they find themselves successful. And by the end, they say, oh my God, I'm a creative person. I mean, you can have a mindset that you do your job in a creative way. You know, pick all the little pieces of what you have to do, you know, in your normal day, and just say, I'm going to do each one of those little things in an extraordinary way. And that adds up to being wildly creative. So many of us try to kind of stay in the middle. We try to encourage people to kind of try to get away with something. You know, if you kind of stay down the middle, it's safe, but you're not doing anything that might be new to the world. So, you know, within the bounds of what you're allowed to do, you know, try to get away with something. If you have creative confidence, then you have more stick-to-itiveness. You try more things. You go down different paths, and you're kind of fearless in the face of failure. And this kind of leads to routine innovation.
Next slide. Next video, sorry. I'm sorry.
My name is Emmy Kalawale. I'm the editor-in-residence at the D School at Stanford, currently on sabbatical from the Washington Post. Empathy is, well, there's a textbook definition. Empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. But it's more than that, I think. I think empathy is, it's a chance to fall in love. It's a chance to hate. It's a chance to be completely other than that which you usually are. And in so doing, to discover so many other things about life and about living. Well, empathy lies at the heart of human-centered design because people are at the heart of human-centered design. It's about understanding. And in order to have true human-centered design, you have to understand the people you are designing for. You have to understand their needs. And you have to be able to seize that moment that just happens when you're really jumping into somebody else's situation, somebody else's shoes. I can't come up with any new ideas if all I do is exist in my own life, in my own existence. In order to get to new solutions, I have to get to know new people. I have to get to know different people, different scenarios, different places. I have to travel, I have to immerse, I have to dive into something completely different. Yeah, if you're not surprised, I would hazard a guess you're doing it wrong.
So I was just going to say, we've talked in this class about, we mentioned in passing about an elevator pitch, the circumstances that present itself and all. And I'm just going to ask a question with our in-house guest. Did any one of you take Mimshak up on something he could do for you? Were you able to seize, sorry, you want to share?
I was trying to pick him up on how that's a use, yeah. Got to partner with him.
Okay.
Some kind of projects.
Anyone else? Huh? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it were me, okay, and I had an idea already of my business and what I was doing, while he was talking yesterday, I'd have been sizing him up, trying to figure out, why will this person be a good plug for me? What can I do with him? Or if it was a her, can I do her? You understand? And if you already have an understanding of what you want to do, in that little time you are with him, you could as well have walked up to him, just like he was talking about Dangote and we're all laughing. Don't forget, we're all people who are playing in our own local ecosystem. So you want that jump now, here. So you should have said that there's a problem I think we could solve. This is what I think we should do. This is how I think we should do it. Same thing he was teaching, throw it right back at him. And this is how I think you can be of help. Two things are already working for you. One, he just finished talking to you, teaching you what to do. Two, he's happy you're taking him up at what he has just taught you. And there's a problem that he can actually help you solve. I'm only just throwing this in so that we'll understand something about this elevator thing we say. It's not all the time. It doesn't come in the guise you think it will. What you need to do about those things is just be able to take hold of that advantage or that opportunity whenever you see it, wherever you see it. That confidence. The same memes are telling you that, look, I really don't know. I don't like to talk to, I'm a shy person. But then he spent the next 3 hours, or he spent a couple of hours teaching you what to do. And I was actually watching yesterday, and I didn't want to say a word to anyone. I was just hoping that somebody would say, yeah, Mr. Minya, that's true. This is what I do. And this is what I think the problem we can solve. Now, based on this thing you have told me, I've seen this, identified this, that, and that. Even if it's not the neatest of ideas, probably he would have now said, hey, why don't we sit down and discuss this? Why don't we refine it this way? If you notice throughout his presentation, Mimshak would never shoot down an idea. He would say, why don't you think you should do it this way or that way? So no idea is really a bad idea. It's just how we work it. I'm just throwing this in for the class because you never can tell. It may not be a Mimshak, it may be somebody else completely, but you need to be prepared. And oftentimes, based on what we're learning today, truthfully speaking, if you already have an idea of what you want to deal with truthfully, you're not just producing. When you want to do a pitch, it's a whole lot easier because you're dealing with, say, look, do you know, sir, in Nyanya, a suburb in the FCT right now, these are the problems they're having. Children do no longer go to school with shoes because they don't have shoes, they can afford it. And you know the crazy thing, I just found an outlet where shoes are being given away for free. The only challenge is the logistics of bringing those shoes to these people, this community who needs it, improving their lives, helping their education work better. And I think you can play a role, sir. I think you can. And why did I say so? It's in the opportunities you see. When he was talking to you yesterday, he told you about one of his friends having the biggest fleets with Jumia, logistics. So you are cashing in on that immediately because you can see a gap. Okay. And you know that your friend who does logistics, sir. It's a perfect fit. We can do this. You with your distribution, your product. Oh, it's amazing. These t-shirts are really brilliant, you know, changing lives and all. However, distribution has been a bit of a challenge, you know, getting it in the hands of those who need it. And I think that logistics firm will do a great deal or go a long way in partnering with us. Then he can say, you need to talk to those guys or tell them there's this crazy young lady doing stuff, but you need to help that person. Or you need to look at that person's model. And then you're having those discussions. Elevation pitches or elevator pitches do not just happen. Seize that opportunity where it comes, when it comes. Don't be like the people, I think it was this class, when I said, someone sat beside Tudne Lumelu for 6 hours. Was this class? And everybody screamed, hey! But in your own little way, you're doing it as well. You're just not seeing it that it's an opportunity, so you don't take it. So please, it's a note for all of us, right? You will find a lot of people you will come across. Be able to understand your problem, be able to know what you want to deal with it, or how you want to deal with it, and be ready to present it. Okay? And these things turn up in all sorts of places. It could be that you're in church, example, at the mosque, and your pastor happens to be talking to that next big person you know. And you are saying, oh, good morning, sir. Sorry to disturb you. I've been really trying to reach you because have you realized that there's this problem, blah, 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 in the FCT we need to solve. This is how we need to do it. And I'm now seeing you. I think it's just a good opportunity to let you know that's possible for us to. All you want to do, don't forget with that pitch, is to get attention. It's just to get that attention for the person to say, okay, let's have this conversation. Let's meet next week, come for lunch, see my PA, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have that to say, it will be a problem. So you need to design, when you are doing, it's really a system that works within itself. You need to be very deliberate about what you are doing. Find out what that problem is, empathize with the people, spend time with them, build something, test it, and then you are ready to go and sell. And you're looking for your channels. You're looking for how to bring it to people. You don't know this is what I want to do. It is a big tragedy when you meet someone who can help you or scale your business or open new doors for you, and they ask you, what do you want? And you really do not have an answer. A lot of people meet people and say, sorry, is it okay if I take a selfie with you, sir? Oh yes, it happens so often. Oh, so often. In fact, in a lot of those places where big socialites gather, most times people just want to take a picture. But I can bet you, if you meet a Davido, just saying, and you're taking selfies with him, he'll gladly oblige you, you know, for his brand. But as you're meeting him, I tell him that, Davido, you know, it's really come to our attention, the great, remarkable work you've been doing with orphanages, the way you're transforming lives of orphans. But have you realized that there's a particular direction you have not gone, impacting the lives of these children? Your delivery system is a little bit wrong. You could impact a whole lot more with a whole lot less doing this. These services are available and you can make it happen. They've gotten his interest. You didn't tell him, Davido, give me money. So he will not look at you and say you are a fraud. You have acknowledged the fact that he's doing great work, but you are showing him how he can scale that thing. You need to be able to package yourself in such a manner that, look, even these guys who want to work with you, these wealthy people, these people you want to access, you need to package yourself in such a way that they think working with you is doing themselves a service instead of the other way around. So you must craft that for your business. Spoken word guy, you need to find a way to do those things. Create yourself as a brand. Davido now is a brand. People know him to be such a huge brand. How can you leverage on what he's doing? If you show him how to expand himself, how to build his empire more, how to get into the faces of a whole lot more people, he will listen to you. Anyway, sorry, sir. Next video. Let's run this through.
Building, deploying, and managing your apps takes an hour more than just treading water.
All right.
Martin. I'm the co-lead and creative director of IDEO.org.
Some volume, please.
A critical piece of embracing ambiguity is letting multiple ideas coexist simultaneously. That means we're just exploring lots of possible solutions, lots of possible answers.
Can we start it again,
don't know
please?
what's going to work out. You walk by a room of design. I'm Patrice Martin. I'm the co-lead and creative director of IDEO.org. A critical piece of embracing ambiguity is letting multiple ideas coexist simultaneously. That means we're just exploring lots of possible solutions, lots of possible answers, and we don't know what's going to work out. You walk by a room of designers who are in the thick of the analysis process. There, you'll hear things like, not quite sure how this is relevant, but it might fit, or I don't know about this idea, but I want to hold on to it. That's embracing ambiguity, because we're letting a lot of ideas kind of percolate around. We don't know what that answer is, but we know that we need to give ourselves the permission to explore. Design thinking is a process of creating new ideas. We're going through it so we can get to innovative solutions that really work for people. And that means we don't know what the answer is when we start. And that not knowing can be pretty uncomfortable. We're not used to that, but that's actually the point. We want to embrace ambiguity. We want to give ourselves the permission to explore lots of different possibilities so that the right answer can reveal itself.
Next video, sir. No idea is a silly idea until you have checked it out to see that it may not work in what you want to use it for. Then you can discard it. And you need to be able to do that without, like I say, wasting money. Before the next video, so I'm going to share something. You see, oftentimes, right, we get a brainwave of an idea that this is what we want to do, right? And then we quickly go and make what we think it is we want to do. And then we just bring it and now try to test to see if people really like it. But what we're looking at here is that even when you have an idea, before you even start making anything, talk with people, put it out there, deep dive with it, talk to people, you know, find out these people I'm trying to do for this solution for, do they truthfully want this solution? Is this something they would enjoy? Is this something they will do? Will they spend money on it? Is it something that affects their daily lives? These things are done at different levels, right? Some people might decide that, a big company might decide that, okay, let's take a place that is like a case study. Send our researchers to go and live with them for the next 30 days, 1 month, 2 months. And they will observe what people do, what they say and what they don't say. They will see the lifestyle. They say, okay, now if we build this product, this is how it will affect this community. This is how they will use it. This is what they will do with it and all. You don't have the luxury of that, but you can still test your ideas. And when you have done testing, you will still look at yourself and say, okay, now that I'm going to do a prototype, will it be expensive? Will it not be? You run an estate firm. Who are the guys who buy property? Where do they gather? What kind of property are you selling? What's your segment that you are looking at? How do you reach them? What do they do? And then you can figure out how to craft a product that works for them. Some of them, different products for different people. Some people have enough money to pay upfront. Others would need mortgage, right? What are the mortgage processes? How do we work a value chain for everyone so that if you're buying a house, it's easy for a lot of the people in the industry already do stuff like that. We'll get, that's what you do. You put art in spaces.
For example, one of the things that we do is when this level speaks now, we get artists because how people get therapy that with art. And also for like businesses, for interviews, like working for a company, and we're trying to do research and then how people are waiting for the interview, whatever. It should be things that they will look at.
So I want to ask you a question. Why do you want to do that?
Okay, first of all, I'm somebody like I'm an artist and I'm always like I have experienced working in space like this. Sometimes I want to there is this whole way to them. But at the same time, the creative environment, they're actually there. So, there was a time I actually tried to fix my background while we were like, before I passed away, because I used to paint and all. So it came around, so I was like, just a picture. So most of the time I was walking or painting, I noticed that it was always like, he doesn't talk much because they're older, but you will see that it's something that what you're doing, and it's probably already used to be. And the moment you stop, you see their life that you're stopped. You get so I just feel like, in a way, this thing kept him busy while we were doing it.
Therapeutic, right?
So that one, then another time was when we were in school, there were times that I would have to go to permanent Senate building and all. And there was this like if you remember the movie, there's this thing of black like carvings and everything. People actually get lost in while they're listening. So you just sit down there and just like wasted your time before you get.
So I was going to just ask, if you have experienced your granddad do that, why haven't you gone further to create opportunities for old people to experience that?
So I actually did ask a friend application in school.
Yeah.
And what I was doing, I did like teaching practices, and I was going to schools and working with like little children, like the ages of like that primary, secondary age. So one thing I noticed then is when I taught them in class, they were much more interested in creating. Like, because all day long they are probably reading and listening and all that. When you get out of the just reads, they all just want to dive into it and enjoy the whole process. So there were times where I went out in the department that when they bring students for like what is the exposure that they like, they just have pick one or two of us, just put them through and do like a little kind of workshop or showing with them. And they actually love that experience as well. So
If I keep asking the whys for you, we won't go. But I'm going to ask you another question, but you will reserve the answer for much later. How many hospitals have you approached in the FCT to be able to put up an arrangement with them so that you can help them pay or help their old citizens who are recovering pain or looking at that opportunity as well? Just mule on that, okay? Pause it, Chinelo, sorry. We'll come back to you. Yeah. Good.
Every Friday, we have someone coming to just paint one. So we realize that the person is their rent and his life expectancy. So we want to be on that.
Where was this done? Outside the country. Since you returned back to Nigeria, have you seen that happening? So maybe we are saying something here. Maybe we are saying something here. Oh, hey, pause. Did Mimsha talk about free? You need to give some things away for free. That's the testing. You can't go to the FCT now or a hospital and say, it will cost 500,000 for us to do. No. Those are also parts of the things you're investing. Do we see business idea coming out somewhere, somehow? Okay. Sit.
Actually, we pass medicine.
Good.
We have one other person that Usumaki. We have the exercise vehicles. We are not the Abuja board, but 4 or 5 artists used to go to hospitals to do art activities for children work, increase music, increase art therapy, music for and mobile music for the person. We also going to like making mobile around the orthopedic section of the hospital. Like what is what we want to we just need to ask yes. So I don't have work on the mobile house. It's for free and just testing was.
So I was just going to say something, right? When you are looking at investigating people, your likely markets, and in this case, maybe for a product you want to sell, you are looking for funding. Understand? If you've investigated someone and you've discovered, like he said, that their mom, an uncle, a loved one passed away from cancer, and they have money now. And you go to that person and tell that person that, do you realize that art therapy really helps cancerous patients live a whole lot longer? That person is going to start listening to you. And if you're telling that person that, look, truthfully, there are so many opportunities for lives to change here because this isn't really happening and it is costing so many people, XYZ in statistics, to lose their lives. And all we really need to get this going is X amount of money. Do you realize that they're already having their idea? They are not thinking of the perspective that you are coming to waste their time. Once their mind goes, what they will just be thinking of, that lost person, the person they lost, and how they can stop this from happening further. And you have a product. Sometimes people are looking for funding and saying this is not working, but you're not searching right. You have a product. You're not checking what's in that market and how to obtain it. So some of these things that's what this exercise is really about, just to get you to truthfully think. It's worked in the Caribbean. It will work here. It's been tested. What were the pitfalls there? What are the odds now that you are meeting yourselves in class and they can share ideas? Oh, this is what works then. So that's how it works. Oftentimes when you want to do some of these things, you probably need a team or something. But this is how you form informal teams as well. Oh, can I get your contact? Can we sit down? Can we do minerals tomorrow? Let's do lunch. Let's do something else, okay? And what do you really, really think about this? And then share. Step into the shoes of these people you want to do things for. So when you are talking about it, you know what you are saying. When you meet the man you need funding from, you are not going to be telling him that we're a group of artists who have a headquarters in Lagos and we have been doing things for free. We won't listen to you. When you tell him that, sir, we discovered that, look, a lot of people die from cancer. You already know the man, you've done some research. You know that he has issues or something, Some people die from these things and it really shouldn't be so. You can actually lengthen their lives. And it's really so amazing, the product. It's so simple, but people don't get it. Painting. Art therapy has shown this and this and this happens. Statistics have proven that people add extra this and this to their lifespan just by doing this, because it helps them train a few medical things because you've done some research. Whatever it is, you will use those phrases and the person is listening to you. By the time you are coming, remember Misha talking about, I think it was this class, about some lady who puts a blog. She wants to sell. It's like the fifth thing, but she has drawn you in. It's also the same thing. But you must research. Don't do things haphazardly. Don't practice on yourself. Train yourself. Know what it is you want to sell and how to sell it, so that whenever that opportunity presents itself, you can take it. We're coming back to you. We can take it when we can. All right? Chinelo is dying to talk, so let's hear her. That's an example of what we're saying. We're talking about centered design, human-centered, but art by therapy, yes?
I love art. I love it that much. So I understand where you're coming from. So I think there's a lot to do in that. For example, like we have mentioned right now, this is a collaboration. Yes, you guys can work together, bring other artists that are like it's kind of a canvas most times. Where you can join the canvas maker to kind of like work together with you to make this image more visions and empowerment. Then of course, try to work with professionals. I think that's very, very key, especially curators who know much more about therapeutic arts.
Hey.
Right? So by the time you now work with these guys,
we need to work. So I am going to interrupt this. Hold your thought, Chinedu. Why I'm asking you to hold your thought is that these conversations can go on from here. That's really what will happen, okay? If you find common grounds. But see, first things first, she even needs to think that that is an idea she wants to explore. That's why I wanted to stop you from, because you can show all the possibilities there are. If not what she really wants to do and she doesn't see the opportunities, you're just going to waste time. So let's run. Sorry, guys. Video, we won't be able to watch all the videos because it's 12, but we're sharing the videos so you can watch them all on your own, all on the slides. All right.
I'm John Bielenberg, co-founder of Future Partners and founder of Project M. I really believe that to be a designer, you need to be optimistic about the ability to come up with new solutions.
We need to start it again.
That it's even possible. I think the bigger the challenge,
we need to start it again.
The more essential optimism is. When I think about John Bielenberg, I'm John Bielenberg, co-founder of Future Partners and founder of Project M. I really believe that to be a designer, you need to be optimistic about the ability to come up with new solutions. I think with the big challenges, you need to believe that it's even possible. I think the bigger the challenge, the more essential optimism is. When I think about optimism, a lot of times I think about improv and the yes and technique. That when you're doing improv and you start a story, we're on a boat and somebody says, no, we're not, we're on a stage, right? It just stops that story, right? Because they're pessimistic, it's a no answer. And I think of optimism as that yes and. So here's a challenge, we have a design, objective. Optimism is the thing that kind of drives you forward. It's possible. Another way to think of it is the art of possibility.
Okay. I think the last video we won't watch it. You guys can watch that. But we're just going to rush through some things now, and we're going to close this. I'm not even going to bother with. Let's go to the. We've already talked about this, so you can just read them up on your own. In the course of this person who's done that. What I want us to do, just go back to the previous slide. Fantastic. Just leave it on any of this, that's fine. We need to, and it's important, discuss technology. Technology that is present and how you can leverage on it. The world, as we all know now, is running pretty much on tech. What technology is applicable to you presently? What is available to you? How well are you conversant, or how conversant are you with what is available? And how are you deploying it to help you? So important. What are the things that can, in layman's English, help your business tech-wise? How many of it is readily accessible or available to you now? And how well can you use what is available to scale what you do now? It's so amazing that a phone that is a communication device in terms of just speaking or texting with people in the hands of some people is actually a complete production item in the hands of others. I talked earlier about, and I always apologize to our lovely ladies who like the iPhone. And so a lot of them like the iPhone because it is a status symbol. Meanwhile, people are shooting full movies with the iPhone and making money from it. They don't even realize what it is. And so when a new model comes out, they dump it and go for the next one. Because someone is still using his iPhone 6 or 7 and is making good money from it. And by the time the person is buying the 13 or 14 Pro, is because they have enough money to treat themselves to an upgrade of what they are doing because they want to have a better tool to help them. So what are you even looking at? So many people say, look, channels, we don't know how to put our products out there. How well are you leveraging social media? What do you know about social media? When you do these exercises, right? When you figure out the people you want to reach, their lifestyle and things, you know, even simple things as the time they spend on social media now matters to you. Because you now understand that these are the times that you should put posts out there so you can reach them. When you're putting a paid ad out there, right? And they're asking you for the demographics of the people, you're able to fine-tune it to exactly what you are looking for. We're looking for people between 35 and 45 who live in the FCT, who are male, female, they stay within this area, their occupational or their likes is blah, 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 blah. So when you put that ad out there, You are not sending an ad to the entire world. You are targeting key segments because you know those are the guys you are looking for. So you need to really, really take these things serious. What are you doing with the items you have now? People are doing full designs on their phones, right? I meet a lot of visual artists because I'm one as well. And one of the greatest tragedies I realize is that so many people are also stuck in the old ways of creating art. They don't even want to leapfrog into the future. And when you're telling them these things will help you, like, we just do this, we just do this. And they will just not want to change their mindset. Yet you want to exhibit in a world that is currently. I told someone I went for an exhibition once upon a time in England, and while I was there, this guy had this huge hall, and it was filled with some huge screens from top to bottom. And the amazing thing was that that artist was a techie. Yeah, he was a tech person, some Chinese tech person, young man. Didn't paint with brushes. And what was this thing he did? He designed a robotic algorithm that would show convergence of things. And when they converge, they will fall apart. But they never had the same pattern twice and would never have the same pattern. And he was using that to depict life and his experiences. When you have an experience, the outcomes are always different. People will have the same experience, outcome, always different. And that's what he was saying. And everybody, okay, it's time to dance in class, yeah? Great. You know, so what are we truthfully doing? Don't forget that when you're an early stage person, you're wearing a lot of hats. You're the accountant, you're the designer, you are the advertiser. Mimshak mentioned Canva as one of the things here. Since Canva came, all those are Photoshop geniuses. They are not causing so much problems now because the average guy that you go and sit down and let me use the local place. Maybe if you go to Area 10 and you need a designer to do something, they just copy stuff. They don't have that time to listen to you, to fine tune. No, say, no, this is how we do it. Now, most guys just sit on Canva. Drop this here, drop that there, do. When they need to now do that major one, they won't probably even go to Area 10. You know why? Because a very smart designer online has set up shop online and he says, look, I'm available, my hours are just $10 and this, send your design, send your brief, and I will create for you. So they take the mock-up they've done, their own local Canva, and say, okay, now give this thing SARS, and they send it. And they get great results, technology. So please, you need to think about where you are. And I'm just creating this for this particular class. I need to think about where you are. Technology runs the world, we know there's so much going on, but how does it apply to you? How can you take advantage of it? How can you bring it to bear to build your business to the place it should be? It's pretty amazing, like I say, where for some guys, their phone is just a place they default to play games, right? But some other person, that's a place to make money. Now, if you are a gamer for a living or you game for a living, that's brilliant because that means you are using your phone to generate wealth for yourself. So that's good. But it's really so important for us. These things, let's leverage it for what it is worth, please. And when I say leverage, you need to start learning. You need to figure out the kind of apps that can help your business. Go to the Play Store, find out what apps will work for you. Find out broadcast apps, find out things that can allow you create. Mimshak talk about people making skits, right? And we know they are really so big now. They are really, really. Oh, how many of us used to know Mr. Macaroni before? But you see now he's everywhere. Everywhere. Goya, right? The guy who did, I got his name correctly. The guy who did the Ameno song that everyone, yeah, Goya Ameno, that everybody is really crazy about now. You guys realize that that whole hype went crazy because of the internet. Yeah. And for even till tomorrow, there are so many people still coming up with challenges and using the songs. So it keeps going. And incidentally, I saw a news item last week. I just bought himself a Range Rover. So yeah. There was a guy probably a year ago, none of you knew him. None of us had any idea who he was. But you see how technology has boosted what he's doing. He actually took someone else's stuff, but the world is not asking because we all copy. It's just if your copy works. And now he has joined all of you in his smartness to do the copying as well. So when you take the music and do a dance to it or something, you two are following the copying now. Is it not so? This is how things work. Please, so let's be very particular about what we're doing. Figure out what technology will do in your business and take advantage of it. When you remember, we've talked about when you think about your business, at some point, don't think small. You are hoping that someday your business will be one of the brands that will be measured around the world. That's very true. Think big, start small. Okay? Think big, start small, and take advantage. A time will come if your business scales that you can have a complete department to do design. You understand? And do PR and do all those things. But for here and now, take advantage of all technology presents to you. And let it be said of you that, oh, we attended the British Council training at Kavik, and a year later, we found tech. We found our idea, tech made it scale. And today we're really in the Bahamas having fun, but we are saying thank you to British Council for that training. Very possible. Very possible. Maybe you would be one of the persons who would come through, and now you are a unicorn. There's money. And we are saying, do you want to invest in so and so and so and so? All of us know that Aliko Dangote didn't become Aliko Dangote overnight now. That's true. Tony Lumelu used to tell us when he was my boss years ago about how he used to buy suits at the second-hand market in Lagos. Wasn't Balogun, not Mandela, the one in CMS. Yeah. He used to buy suits there, but he wanted to look sharp. He knew what? That perception is reality. He would dress smart from day one. He would dress smart. He would speak smart. He will act smart. And today he flies smart. He's a big, big, big boy. And he's changing. You see, that's why he's also changing the lives of a lot of people and trying to develop, because he knows what it is. So someday we might get there. And you will get there faster if you take cognizance of all these things we have discussed. Hopefully by tomorrow, you will meet Mr. Ogunlana, who will tie all this together for you. But this is really what it is about. Solving problems, the way to go about solving that problem, using technology to solve that problem, building networks, finding people you can collaborate with, finding people who can mentor you because they made mistakes that you shouldn't make again, and just grow. Okay? Last slide, sir. It's really amazing how 2 hours go without you noticing. The slide before this. Good. Any questions? Slide that has the graph, ideation, inspiration, and this slide. Yeah. So what we're saying is, you have an inspiration, something inspires you. You need to find the inspiration. You need to solve a problem. You need to identify a problem that you are trying to solve. Okay? When you've identified that, it becomes like a challenge. How do you go about it? This problem you want to solve, where do you want to solve it? Whose problem do you want to solve? How do you want to solve it? So you now want to go into the lives of those people, all right? To find out or to answer some of those questions before you even get ideas. I'm trying to solve the problem of water in the community. Which community doesn't have water? Go into that community, right? Spend some time in the community. Figure out, is it that they don't have water, or is it that it is difficult where the water source is difficult to get it into their homes? Is it that they don't have clean water? What kind of water would be applicable to them? What would make life easier for them? How does it disrupt their lives in trying to find water? Does it take away a lot of hours during the day? What exactly? So from that, you now have ideas, okay? So you come back and you have a lot of ideas. You're now going to put down those ideas. You're going to build ideas based on what they've told you, or what you've learned, or what your research has made available to you. And when I say immerse yourself in their lives, it doesn't mean, sometimes it might not be a physical thing. You understand? It may be that you've identified a particular sector and you want to do a lot of research to be sure that what you even think is a problem is actually one. And if it's a problem, is it a problem the way you envisage it or in a different manner? Because if you don't find that out, if you create a solution, but it's not going to address that problem the way they want it, it becomes a problem for you because you can't sell it. You have an idea, people say, oh, this is the problem, or you think it is a problem. So you create a solution based on what you think. And then you take it to where you want to implement or give it to the people, and they say, no, this is not that. We really don't need this product. It's not addressing us. So before you do that, before you create, figure out, get close to them, find out what it is. Is this problem truthfully what I think it is? How is it presenting itself as a problem to them? Okay? Then when you come back from there, now list the kind of ideas you have gotten. Well, this idea is good. This one sounds silly, but let's just leave it there all the same. Let's just put down all our ideas first of what we want to do to solve this problem. Okay? Then look at those things. This idea that I have just created, will it work truthfully in that community? Okay? Will it not? I use water as an example again. You decide to put a borehole in the community, right? Let's say you want to give them water, community, but the only place you want to put that borehole is like a mile away. Then maybe it doesn't work because it still does not address what their needs are. Okay? So you just want to figure out, and you find out that a lot of things have been done. Some people have come in this thing. I'm going to use like a life example. I think somewhere in Ghana, in Kumasi or so, they discovered that they had problem with the collection of poo, human waste, because a lot of the houses didn't have great facilities, you know, sewage or toilet facilities, truth be told. And so some people came up with a creative idea and said, how can we help these people? And they built a toilet that when they installed it for free in your homes, in those homes, they put a canister there. And when you defecate, it goes into the canister, and the canister, you can seal it, it's airtight. So you use it and you seal, you use it and you seal. And when you are done, they have a day when they come to collect them. And so you will take it to a particular designated spot, and they will take it from there and give you fresh canisters. And then they made the service cheap. And it solved a whole lot of problems because people now had decent toilets to use. It was cheap for them. It solved the problem of throwing fish all over. Yeah, you understand. So, but these are things that are done based on staying in that place or understanding what the problem really is. So that's what you are going to do. When you have found it, you build something that works. And when you are building something that works, the big question is, how does it work in relation to finances, in solving the actual problem? Some solutions are good solutions, but they are too expensive, so it's not useful. So when you find that right fit of what works at the cost you can, for you now, if you wanted to give a product to someone out there, I can afford to build it, it will meet their needs, and I will get paid. Then you can begin to produce it more, okay? And when you've done that, you now want to make it something that is big. If you worked in this community, if I identify 10 other communities that are similar to this community, they might have the same issues, and this will solve their problems there as well. And so how? They are making more revenue. They are putting it in bigger places. They are help solving more problems. So that's really what this is about. And so what they're just saying is that you will go make up your ideas, come look at it, form ideas out of it, right? Figure out which ideas are good, test it again. When you figure out what is right, you go again. So it's always an ongoing process. You understand? I tell you an example of like present day application. People like TomTom, the sweet people, you notice they change wrappers over time. It's because of stuff like this, because they keep researching what's available, what's cheap, okay, and what's the trend. So unfortunately for us, plastic is very cheap. Polythene is very cheap. And so they keep changing it. They just put it in small things. If you remember, years ago, milk used to come in tins. And then somebody discovered that if you put it in sachet, it's a lot cheaper to put it in sachet. And if you live abroad now, see, we go to ShopRite and any of those big shops, and you buy and they pack things in polythene. But you know, it doesn't happen anywhere anymore. Nobody does that. In fact, when you are going shopping, you will carry your bag. You carry your bag along. You will buy, you will put it because it is environmental friendly. You are not just going to be dumping polythene all over the place. So these are the kind of things, you know, that happen. They've checked some of those things and then they evolve and they evolve again. And even the phones that we've been making fun about, while it's mostly a marketing thing, because the immediate old one or two or three will do kind of practically the same thing, but they will tweak one or two things in it. Oh, the camera now is brilliant. You can make videos in the dark and it's like you're standing in bright light yourself. So for you as a person too, you will find a way to tweak yourself. Once you found that product that works, you now keep abreast or you keep ahead of trends. If it's going to change, you change it slightly, change it, and you go. Yeah. Why I'm not going to say it's the hardest part is because from day one, right? What did we say you need to do as an entrepreneur? Because if you don't identify a problem, a proper problem, you can't provide solutions that will actually scale. So you must spend some time trying to do that, okay? And living life is not like the most difficult things. If you have a product for artists, right? Just saying, you want to do a product for artists as an example. You're in Abuja. You want to go to Abuja Literary Society now. You want to find out the day they meet. You understand? Because you find a pool of them there. So if you want to test ideas, that's the place to go to. You understand? And figure out some time to them, listen to them talk, make some friends, and find out, will this and this and this work? And become friends and you can test. The entrepreneurship journey, like we say, it's not for the faint-hearted, right? If you're thinking of quitting your 9 to 5, if you have one, right? be very certain that you will spend some time building your product. But hey, when you take those risks and they pay off, even the 9-to-5 person will be looking to you. They will look at you. They want to be your friend. Of course, if you crash and burn, they won't want to be your friend. They'll never know you. So you want to make sure that you work, you know, and there are no easy places in these things. What you want to also do is keep your costs low. You understand? You may have found an idea. You might have even found some idea, found a problem, found solutions you think you want to apply to it. But don't forget your budget. You have the resources to do what you want to do. You must find something that you're doing that will fit into that budget, or you have a budget for it, or you can find funding for it. Okay? Any other questions? Oh, great. Why do I feel I'm in the firing line of this now? All right, let's hear it.
Now, it's not like the usual art that just people come on to want to be accessible outside of the app. So how do you test that? Because either we found business.
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about apps is this, and I did say something earlier about leveraging technology, right? If you put it out there and say, I'm interested in working on XYZ type of app that will do this and this, is anyone interested in being part of this? You will be shocked at the people who would respond. Sometimes you want to go a bit deeper and look for forums where techies say, I really want to do this. Who's interested? And then you can figure out what it needs to get that done. And you'll be shocked that a lot of people really like to collaborate, and a whole lot of them probably won't do it for money. They just want to be able to say, we delivered, or we're able to crack this problem. And when you find such people, that's a good place to start. Okay? Oh, all right. Is it on? That's if they are locally based, right? Yeah. So for me, solution is great, but I have a little bit of challenge with it, because sometimes the local people are kind of facing same kind of maybe economic challenges or troubles that are there. There are lots of techie guys who want to do stuff, but they want to get paid for it. But I've discovered that the internet is an amazing place. You find a techie guy who's bored, he's in India, he's so great at what he does. And this is an aside for him. He has his job. But it's just a challenge he wants to take on, because he kind of likes the idea that he can solve this kind of problem. And as long as you will give him credit, he will. And what you want is not ready for an app. You just want an app to solve a particular problem. And maybe when you put it out there, you'll be amazed also at those who have tried to do the same kind of thing, the kind of challenges they've met, how they've overcome it. And then you can take it from there. Anyone else talking to us?
I was just going to say what you said. There's actually an app. I don't know if it's still active. But in Lagos, there's an app that will tell you are going from Lagos to yes, Lara. Thank you. I was trying to remember you. But it was basically no, I tell you how much you're going to spend. But this, yeah. But the basis of it was like a WhatsApp kind of platform.
chip testing as well. Chip testing the idea before you even start going far, right? Anyone else? Questions? You wanted to ask a question. This graph again. What you don't need to know about this graph is that it's a continuous thing happening. That's just all you need to know. In the sense that it's like a big circle. As you are going through all these things, it's kind of like a big circle. You'll get on it, you make some mistakes or some ideas won't work, you go back and correct them, you test them, So you keep going up, down, until you have found that particular idea that you can afford or that is affordable, will solve a lot of problems, will do exactly what you want it to do, people will pay for it and all. Then please go to the end of it. Then when you implement, it now goes. You understand? That's the easiest way I can explain it to you. So you're just going round and round until, so you found a problem. You've gotten ideas. You have created solutions from those ideas, prototypes. You are testing until you find the one that fits what you want to do, solves the problem, it's affordable, it can scale, it can grow, it can impact, goes into the market, you implement it. And then when it goes into the market, you now begin to scale it to different places, build it up. You understand? That's why I made that remark about if you put it in a community and it is working, then you probably now will look for similar communities, okay, that may have that same problem that it can work for, and then you put it there. So that's how it just continues to grow. It's an ongoing process. And even when people have found one that is working in the market, when technology changes, when scenarios changes, when the business phase changes, sometimes they have to come back and start or fine-tune their product again based on the current realities. Before 2019, how many people spent time online? Online in the sense that most people did social media. Nobody liked to attend meetings online. We preferred. Then you found a world that you couldn't go anywhere, and the world wouldn't come to a standstill. It just has to keep running. So we started doing meetings online, and you don't want to tell the crazy things you saw happening because some people didn't realize their cameras were on when they were having meetings, right? Yeah, but that's the world we found. And so suddenly for a lot of us who say we don't like to look at our laptops for so long, your laptop became your next object, your phone. A long time ago, people used to tell people watch movies on phones and would say, hey, this small screen, why? But those who had been ideating knew that a time would come when people would spend more time on their phones. So they were developing more applications for phones. And those of us who were old school didn't really think or see the value in it. But most of the young people, most of you here are young, probably are taken to watching movies on their phone a long time ago, watching football on their phone, watching concerts on their phone. It wasn't a new thing to them. So that's how things go and how people just, so you need to check. That's this process playing out all the time. A long time ago, people started doing, what's it called now? PC version, mobile version. PC version, mobile version. I seem to think now that the PC version itself is beginning to even, go out. More like mobile now. And if people are already doing like 3D things that look, there are even glasses you can wear and interact, and so you know that pretty soon, even this thing will carry around. So technology, find out how it will help you. Find out how it can help you do the things you are doing as well. Any other questions, guys? Are you sure? We're done, we're fine? Did we understand the class, I should ask? Is that yes, a political yes? Is it a political yes? Okay, so thank you so much for being part of the class, and I hope you've been able to learn a lot. Mr. Ogunlana will be here tomorrow. Trust me, you don't want to miss Sheung. Sheung, if you think Mimshak is crazy, then you haven't met Sheung yet. You haven't met Sheung yet. And I haven't failed you in my word so far, so please take my word for it. He will be here tomorrow, and he will tie all this together, give you a final overview of what your business should look like, what your business should be doing, how your business can run, practically. So today you talk about design mostly and all, but tomorrow it's everything. I would encourage us, if you have questions, maybe to come prepared as well, and questions for your businesses. Not just questions about the program, questions for your businesses or what you want to do. Minchak told you guys yesterday that he's done several things. He was a lecturer, and he was a venture capitalist, where they used to give a lot of money to people, okay? Then he now heads a software company where they build all sorts of things. In all these three things, where is he helpful to you? Is it having conversations as a venture capitalist because you want to look for funding, but you don't know what to do or how to go about it? Or is it now that you're looking for an app? Chinelo, you wanted to do an app. What are they doing? Are such apps available? How do they get ideas for the apps they build or the software? They have people they partner with. Is there a way you can get funding? Because app building is not cheap. So Seun too will be here tomorrow. Seun is chief strategist for one of the biggest companies here, Suburban Telecoms. But beyond that, Seun's done a whole lot of stuff. Seun worked with, I think, over 500 startups, builds them, helps them scale. So he's likely to have direct answers for your questions. So please take advantage of that tomorrow, okay? Yeah, so I think we can round up this class. It's time to refresh ourselves. Thank you. Social media, some guys did social media. So kudos to you all. And some people got theirs posted. The people who did the dark thing, we saw it. I think British Council, okay. So we want to see more of that. Don't forget this our social media handle, so you can reach us on the phone number. Thank you so much, and we're good. Please, guys.